Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to let me repeat, the Rock and Roll Podcast. Check out this record. My name is Frank, and with me is my good buddy, Mark.
Hey, Frank, we got a doozy of an episode this week in store.
Absolutely, and thank you for joining us, everyone. We're syndicated via Redline Radio LLC, so you can
Redline
find us on
Radio.
Redline Radio. You can find us on
Radio.
Spotify and Apple Podcast. I love doing that. That felt good. Felt good.
Yeah. Be sure to dose yourself and then a ton of Aquanet and make your way over YouTube to see all the goofy faces we make at each other. Well, we put this podcast together just for you.
We sure did. And for any new listeners out there, this is a podcast where Mark and I recommend albums to each other to review. Plus, we have a wide variety of musical discussions, like our Spotlight series, where we dig into a band's catalog and see what comes out on the other side.
Or in our Verse series, where we pit two albums against each other and duke it out for complete and total stereo domination.
Absolutely. And be sure to check us out on Instagram. And now in our new Facebook group, we like to drop additional content that will hopefully leave you wanting more of our musical goodness and, of course, Mark's random nonsense. And more importantly, if you have a record that you want us to check out, drop us a comment wherever you find us. While you're at it, subscribe, give us a review and a rating. And I'm going to all of a sudden just say this. Mark, how are you, my man?
Frankie, I'm good, my man. Pumped to get our time travel on. We've been back to the good old days of 1987 today.
1987. So, Mark, I have a question, though, for you.
Mm-hmm.
The question is, what lived in the 80s, featured an abundance of inventory, and was basically decimated by one song?
I'd like to play this Jeopardy rules.
Yes.
What is the rise of herpes?
Yes, also known as hair and glam metal. Now, listen, I'm not going to fit into this phony hipster moniker that we get. Listen, I know. I
don't know which side he's on, so I'm just pointing everywhere.
Yeah, there you go. Right. I'm not gonna fit into that. However, listen, I did dig the style at the time. And again, I've mentioned before on previous episodes, checking our archives, I was a huge Def Leppard fan. I used to imagine myself on that Hysteria round stage being Joe Elliott. And I think some of those bands were legitimately good, but they got thrown into a crock pot and really got clumped into being a watered down version of what they set out to be. Mark, what say you on that whole genre?
American rock was in a weird place after the 70s, right? While we witnessed the birth and baby steps of heavy metal, punk rock, and even hip-hop, mainstream rock music was taking on its own weird shape, a weird and feathered shape. Fucking hair metal. Gross. Ew. This is an area our listeners know I've got a beef with the genre because it's based on more on how cute the dudes are and not how good they were at writing and performing music. That said, there are plenty of great musicians that come out of the 80s and hair metal. There are some really phenomenal guitarists and singers and drummers. But this was a period known for its excess and pageantry. And what can I say? I hate a good dog and pony show.
And Mark's right. Record companies, they're running rampant to sign these bands with the big hair, a little makeup, some spandex, and lots of makeup, right? And their mix of metal and pop hooks, which basically what it was. We spoke about Metallica in our previous episode, and they were really adamant about their distaste for this genre. There's an interview of Lars saying how he and James would heckle Motley Crue outside of the shows on Sunset Strip, and James says to them that music was not about that to them. So it was pretty interesting when you say, Mark, that they were very adamant against this.
I would have loved to be like a fly on the wall and see that happen, just to see what it's like. Did that come up? I know you watched the Dirt, the Motley Crue movie.
I did.
Did that come up at all? Was there like two snot-nosed, pimple-faced kids like playing James and Lars, giving them a hard time, or was it just them eating pussy the whole time?
Yeah, pretty much that one, because then that would devalue the whole movie, right? Oops. But listen, the downfall that eventually happened, and we'll probably have to have a bigger episode on that, but I mean, listen, I think it was justified. It was an overabundance, and listen to what I'm about to spew out here. We have Bad Company, Bad English, Dangerous Toys, and Mr. Big Oh My, Nelson, Night Ranger, Quiet Riot, Nitro, Trickster, and Slaughter. This is where, of course, I start to sigh. Steelheart, Striper, Poison, Great White, LA Guns, Firehouse, Can You Just Hear It, Warrant, Wasp, White Lion, White Tiger, White Snake, and Winger. And that's why the genre was probably killed by the song Smells Like Teen Spirit. Talk about excess, right, Mark?
I thought you were singing an Aerosmith song for a minute there.
I try to do like the bouncing, like the Dr. Seuss songs or the
Yeah.
Dr. Seuss books.
No, I'd be hard pressed to disagree with you there. For me, this genre is a perfect example of how record labels ruin the music business. And before I get too far on that soapbox, let me say, yeah, the labels did a great job of selling people the bullshit they wanted to hear. And you can't fault them for that. What I can blame them for is the excess, for making taboo and kinky into mayo. You know, we could have been, what could have been, a cool cult subgenre got homogenized and marketed for the masses by Integrity, but that's mainstream rock and roll. So
yeah, and you nailed it on the head. They did their job, the record labels, right? They were
made
successful in what they did. They made the product, they sold the product, it was in excess. But some ramifications came along with that. Of course, they don't care, but people like me and you care, and that's why we're talking about this, right? Yep. And listen, I'll be honest again, most of these singers, they have a real voice with great range. The musicianship was pretty solid. I mean, those guys could absolutely shred. Poison, also known to me as Captain L and the Lamo Pants, had CC DeVille on guitar, and he's a good guitar player. He is, and a character to begin with. However, of course, the rest of them is, subject to what we'll be talking about shortly. So, Mark, let's do a top 10. This is going to be our collective list of worst hair metal bands. Now, I want to say some bands I mentioned may have a song or two that I like, but hey, listen, everyone has a guilty pleasure, right, my friend?
Yeah, and when you've put out 15 records over 25, 30 years, we should be able to like at least 2 or 3 of them. God forbid you complete like a whole record that I like, but maybe I'm asking too much. So,
good point.
My first pick is Poison. They achieved commercial success in the mid 80s through the mid 90s, and it sold over 45 million records. God, you people will listen to garbage. The band has charted 10 singles in the top 40 of the Billboard Hot 100, including 6 top 10 singles. Oof. And the Hot 100 #1. You ready for this, Frank?
Yes.
Every rose has a shitty fucking thorn. I know. People are going to say I don't know what I'm talking about. But these albums and their singles are absolute trash. Put your nostalgia down and listen to them. They suck. Band spent more time looking like chicks that they wanted to bang than trying to write songs that meant anything cool.
Right.
It's too bad for Ricky Rocket and CC DeVille, because even though CC DeVille is probably like the best stage name ever, like, that's such a cool fucking name. Cool. They're naturally great musicians, but their talent admitted to utter trash when they wrote garbage songs and played them to get. I'm sorry, dude, you were cool, but like the sum of all parts didn't equal something better. So
lots of things come in my head real quick. First of all, I actually had them on the list I initially did, but as I'm writing it out, I'm like, Mark would do this better than me, so I took it off because I knew Mark would pick Poison #1. #2 is when you said every rose has its thorn. I think of the Grim Reaper and Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey when they're going into heaven and and they're singing the lyrics of every rose has their thorn, and the Grim Reaper is singing it. But listen, absolutely, like Ricky Rocket, CC DeVille, especially like I just spoke about it a couple of seconds ago. I mean, good musicians. I don't dislike the guy Bret Michaels as an individual, but I mean, they're not really putting out anything here, and it's amazing, the 45 million records.
Yeah,
astonishing.
I mean, the names of these guys, they sound more like an anime than they do a fucking rock band from the 80s. Like, come on, dude. Ricky Rocket, CC DeVille.
I know.
Bret Michaels, the guy's got 2 first names. Like,
I know. All
right, you're up.
I'm up. So for me, this is #9 now on the list. I have Slaughter. Slaughter. This is the later 80s, and thank God we didn't have much of them in the early decade. Up All Night, that song Up All Night, Sleep All Day, Fly Me to the Angels, Spend My Life. There were hits with Mark Slaughter's high falsetto voice. They still kick it around on your nostalgia tours. I mean, props for not wearing makeup, but man, if the moon really made a cheese, then this would be their home, man, because it's horrible. And when I hear them on satellite radio, I gotta turn them off. So,
man, when Frank cuts you, he cuts you right to the bone, doesn't he? My God. Woo. So next up for me is Rat. And I'm going to keep this short because never has a record label proven they can sell a shit record by slapping pretty boys on it like Rat. Pure garbage. That fucking band is absolute garbage, and I don't give a shit. That's it. That's all I wrote.
That's all you wrote, and that's all you need to write. It's so funny because they could be like the one band that's so identified by one song. And someone once told me, "Oh, you got to dig into their stuff," and I did, and I was like, "No, it's absolutely horrible." So yeah,
yep.
Sorry.
Yep.
Next up is Firehouse. So there's that guy, Christopher Cross. He wrote those adult soft tunes like Sailing and Arthur's Theme.
He's the Sail Away guy, right?
Yeah. And Arthur's Theme, When You Get Caught Between the Moon and New York City.
Are you okay? Are you having a seizure? What's going on?
Yeah.
Okay?
I'm singing that song.
Oh.
But the band, Firehouse, has...
I'm texting your wife to call an ambulance.
Thank you, man.
I'm sorry. I wasn't sure what was going on. I interrupt. Please, go ahead.
She's going to ignore it anyway. But so Christopher Cross, Arthur's Theme, the band Firehouse, they have less balls than that music. I mean, the best song they can deliver is a song called Don't Treat Me Bad. They could take their mid-tempo tunes and tour out in Asia because, believe it or not, they're still popular there. This band is bad. Firehouse is next, number 7, coming in number 7 on the list.
Yeah. So is another short one for me. The best thing about this band is their name. It's Dokken. A band so boring I can't even remember what their hits were, but people love them. Why? I have no idea. Dokken. I think Dokken is when two men place their penises together, like head to head,
right?
And then one rolls the foreskin over the other one. I think that's Dokken. Frank?
Oh man, and that would create better music than what we heard of Dokken.
Yeah, it makes like a really it's not like a suction sound, but it is like it's reverse suction. I don't know how it works. It's really lovely though. Two men are absolutely welcome to make love in any way that makes them happy, as long as it doesn't hurt other people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm still equating that to Dokken, but I'm
Yep.
Oh man.
So I guess Dokken did something for us.
Dokken did something for us, right? So next, number 5 is Mr. Big. The fact that this band was even a thing goes to show you how the record companies were just throwing themselves at these guys. I mean, they remind me of a guy at an open mic that's so bad, but you have no choice to watch him perform because you're up next. They made the mediocre bands, like the ones we mentioned and other ones out there that we're reviewing later, come off as amazing. So Mr. Big, number 5, they're horrible. Mark?
Number 4, how the fuck has a band from Philly suburbs sold 15 million records? I'm not talking about the Menzingers. I'm talking about Cinderella. Fucking a bunch of dudes named Cinderella. I don't care that I look homophobic right now. These dudes were straight as could be, but they all dressed like chicks and sang like them. Their biggest hit was 1988's Don't Know What You've Got Till It's Gone. Well, they're gone, and I still don't know what I got. Because they're still shit to me.
And that's another shame because Tom Kiefer, the singer, actually is a legit blues guitar player, and I'm like, how did those skills translate to the songs we were hearing from Cinderella? So go figure. 3 for me is Winger. She's only 17. Daddy says she's too young, but she's old enough to me. Well, pal, if that's the case, your ass should be in jail, right?
That's right.
Headed for a heartbreak, give me a break. Who can forget about Easy Come, Easy Go? Well, Kip Winger, if you were your age and she was indeed 17, then maybe it was Easy Come. Anyway, my point is Winger's horrible.
Man, I can't believe they made that show Wings about the band Winger, and they were so terrible.
About the pilots. They were brothers and they were pilots.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Thomas Hayden Church and all.
Now,
it's a good show, by the way. That show holds up. I don't care what anyone
says. Does it?
Yeah.
Good. I only made that joke because I know that Frank likes it.
I love that show.
These next 2 people are really going to get fucking up in arms, and I don't give a shit. Listen, for me, this is my number one pick, but this is the way these lists work. Frank and I get a chance to take turns as to picking who's number one and who's number two. And
well, this is Mark's number one out of his side of the list.
This is definitely my number one, but I got to tell you, and I'm not giving it away, Frankie. Frank makes a great choice. So for me, number two, the absolute worst, the biggest pile of shit to come out of the 80s, hair metal, glam metal, whatever you want to call it, Twisted Sister. Yeah, Dee Snider is a jackass. Yeah, it's great that he fought for censorship. Yeah, whatever, dude. All right? He hates when people call Twisted Sister a glam metal band. Really, D? You spent all that time and energy putting on eyeliner and women's clothing and so you could sell a record, and now all of a sudden you're too ugly to do it and it's cramping your style? Get the fuck out of here, dude. The music videos for your songs spoke perfectly for how well you knew this band was a joke, right? Yes, the songs were silly. They were anthematic. They were like anthems in many cases. I don't fucking know what that word is. I'm just making shit up. But you clearly understood that it was a gag. You clearly understood that. And the fact that you're going to get all high and mighty and be like, you need to treat this like it's fucking art. Go fucking dick. Go sell some more fucking beans or chili or whatever you're doing and just shut the fuck up, Dee Snider. Thanks for speaking up for my freedom from censorship like nobody else would have done it. You eloquent giant ape.
Oh, that was amazing. That was amazing. And what's funny is when if you interview, like, there was an interview segment, I forgot which, it could have been on VH1 years ago, where they went around and, of course, they talked about, the downfall of the genre. And Dee Snider specifically is talking about how these other bands were part of it. And I'm like, well, you were probably part of it too, pal. So there you go. All right, number one, and that was good. I'm not gonna be able to top that at all. I'm just putting it out there. But my number one is
Come on, Fudge Their Bucket.
Yeah, exactly. Fudge the Bucket. T-shirts can be available soon. The brothers Nelson, and then
brothers.
Yeah, the twin brothers Nelson. That's a guilty pleasure alert. So I'm just saying it. Like, two songs, Can't Live Without Your Love and Affection, After the Rain. They were key word here, were my jams. I rocked the cassette tape. I like the fact that they were Ozzy and Harriet's grandsons, and of course Ricky Nelson's sons. Ricky Nelson was a pioneer and died way too young. But the fact that this was even thrown around as with the metal phrase attached to it is insulting to actual metal musicians. Their songs were corny and they were cash grabs, and they tried to go off of, I think, the two brothers, again, their good looks. Whatever the case is, the stuff is just, it's not good. It's not good. So number one for my side of the list, and it just happens, that's how the hierarchy went. Nelson.
Yeah. Nope. Hey, sometimes Frank's right. They fudge the bucket there over at Nelson.
That's right.
I have to tell you.
Yeah, tell me.
It felt good to get some of that anger off my chest. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, this is a good release. I have to be honest with you. Well, let's talk about the release at hand too. So those were the appetizers, and I'm sure we pissed off people right now. And it's time for that main course. So my good buddy Don, he loves him some Great White, and he recommended us their third record, Once Bitten. Great White was formed in LA in 1977. They got their name from, Mark, guess.
Great White Shark.
Yes. So fast forward to 87, and their third album, Once Bitten, is released. Not related, though, to the cover song they did in the next album, Once Bitten, Twice Shy, that they would do on the next album, Twice Shy.
2 years later?
Yeah. So Mark, thoroughly confused, right? So Mark, chat us up here. When was the first time that you knew of this band? And I know we have some stuff that you want to cover on their cover art, but talk to me about this.
Yeah, man. Talk about the shittiest name in rock history. Look, like, Sharks are awesome. Absolutely. Nobody's arguing the awesomeness of Sharks with you.
Love me a good shark.
I thought this is where the phrase Great White Hype came from, because I've never been impressed by this band. I just assumed they were another cliche 80s hair band, and I almost completely skipped them up until this week. As far as the cover of the record, this is the singer. That's the singer? Dudes look like chick back then. I honestly can't tell.
On there, I don't know.
How do these guys, it's a whole genre based on dressing up like a woman. How am I supposed to know?
Now you have me guessing. Is that actually the singer, or?
Otherwise, I liked it, keeping a shark on it. I thought that was a good idea because, you know, this could have been like a house band for KKK parties, right?
Oh man, this is good stuff right here. This is good stuff.
I hope so.
Yeah. So track by track review, and guys, as everyone can hear, track by track review, and we only have 9 tracks to dive into in this album, which,
Thank
as
God.
you guys could tell, both of us were happy about that. So let's get right to it. We get the first track, Lady Red Light, and so if we were to put a band like Great White into the hair metal glam category, which we are, then they would have those stereotypical characteristics that personally frustrate me, where again the guitars can play and the singers have good voices, and the singer Jack Russell, to this day, if you watch recordings, he has a legit voice. This song displays precisely that. You get this cool guitar riff in the beginning, and his voice is good, and again, like I said, still is. The melodies and the chorus are memorable and kind of keep you singing, but they distract the listener from the surface level content that's out there with this song. It's not a bad way to start off the album, but it's definitely a song based on those characteristics that could frustrate a listener like me. Mark?
Yeah, I dug that opening riff too. I thought that was pretty cool. You know, then the moody soundscape of the vocals, bass, and drums. Then the guitar slowly builds behind it. I honestly have no idea what Lady Red Light means or is supposed to. Oh shit! Is that a tambourine? Whoa. You know, it's kind of textbook song structure for the genre. It really, like, you know, they got out the checklist here. It's surprisingly non-offensive. Like I was kind of worried, right? I made the joke about that being the singer on the album, but like this woman on the album, I was worried that it'd be kind of like, you know, some woman who jerks dudes off at red lights, like he's picking up prostitutes.
Yeah, I thought it was that type of meaning too, but
like the song doesn't suggest any of that in the lyrics.
No.
It's, like I said, surprisingly unoffensive, surprisingly not misogynist. I mean, oh shit. Yeah. Keyboard solo into a guitar solo. Did you see that coming, Frank?
I did.
See that coming. You know, so like I said, get out your cliche checklist, Frank. These dudes are doubling down.
I mean, and maybe with the surface level content, maybe we're even looking too into it with the Lady Red Light. Maybe it means the dude was driving and he's at a red light and he sees this lady, not obviously being a street corner person, but maybe she was just there and passing, and that's his Lady Red Light. Who knows?
Do you think it's just like an angel that floats over stop signals and like uses her magic to change it?
Well,
and
he's just
like, Lady Red Light, it's the 80s, I need to sing about cliche angels.
That's what it is. We just solved it right here.
Yeah. So track number 2 is Gonna Getcha.
Gonna Getcha, Mark.
It's formulaic and clean. Checks all those boxes we were just talking about. Perfectly radio friendly. This thing is so squeaky clean. Did these guys not do drugs? Like the musicianship is good, but it's not exciting.
Right.
And this is my complaint with a lot of this record. It could use some edge. It could use, the band is called Great White. It could use some teeth.
Yeah, no, I know kind of Metallica's frustrations, like being around that scene at the time. Classic 80s riff in the beginning and a cool solo again. However, the song is just a simple concept wrapped around tight musicianship. The chorus of Nowhere to Run, I'm Gonna Getcha. Hey, man, that's predictable. I mean, this is your blueprint and the archetype for an 80s hair metal rock song. I don't think it's a strong track. So, next is Rock Me, which is what people consider it was their breakout single. Here's the hit single, right? Listen, nice little bluesy riff in the beginning, and you even get like a little harmonica appearance. The verses are cool with the light riffs, and then it builds up, and dare I say, rocking chorus.
Dare you?
I know. Whew. Got hot in here, man. I know. I think structurally, it's actually more advanced than the previous tracks, and it is really based really than the rest of the album too. It's a good track. Listen, I'm not gonna lie. My issue though is the repetitive nature and phraseology of the word rock. I mean, we just heard it 2 songs ago with Lady Red Light and her rocking him tonight. I didn't need to hear that again so soon after. Didn't need to hear that. It's a prime example of there's not much thought put into the song titles and the lyrics. In fact, Mark, I'd like to actually right now, and this is going to be the first time anyone's hearing it, show you an example of something I created that took no time. Are you wanting to hear that?
Yes.
Ooh, and that's Mark's cat, everyone. Look at that.
Yeah, that's Opie, guys. All right, sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very excited to announce
this is a
the
debut
of Frank's new song, Frank's new hit single.
Yeah, let's do it. It's called Rockin' My Way to Your Love Tonight.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Frank DeMaria and his hit new single, written just 35 minutes ago, Rockin' My Way to Your Love Tonight.
Tonight. You've been running far too long, wearing that black and red. It's just a matter of time, baby, as I can't get you out of my head. So give me this chance so I could be rocking my way. I even messed up. Rocking my way to your love tonight. Down on the expressway of love we drive. Again, rocking my way to your love tonight. Down on the expressway of love we drive. I just wrote that.
Ooh.
Not too long ago, and I used the word rock, and I'm going to put that on the Facebook page.
Guys, if you could just remember to go like, give it a sweet solo in your head. Frank, man, you crushed it.
See? Yeah. But point taken, where you could really take the word rock and put that as a concept around these tunes, and I think that's what a lot of them were doing. And Mark, I know you like that song.
I loved the song that you just wrote. Moving along to track 4, All Over Now.
Talk to me about All Over Now.
Man, I would love for this to be the last song. Why was this put here? It's called All Over Now. Put it at the end. Plus it's about breaking up. Sorry, Don. There's just no action here, man. This is so sad.
Oh, man. So All Over Now, right? Well, unfortunately for us, it's not all over, as Mark says. In fact, we got 6 tracks to go. Now, I was trying to be a smart ass there, as you could tell. But listen, this track, listen, it isn't bad, but that's where the problem in this album lies. These tracks are not bad, and more importantly, they're not great. They don't move the album along, and it doesn't create any sort of replay value. In fact, as everyone could tell, we're pretty happy when this album was finished, right? I mean, listen, the melodies and the verses are, okay, but it's just a big bag of and that's the best way I could describe it. Track 5, we get Mistreater, and at first I thought the song was Man Eater, and I really wish Man Eater came on as Mistreater. You get the acoustic guitar intro, which I could dig, and then comes in the rest of the band. She's a mean mistreater, but you can't leave her alone. I mean, again, this is just a blanket of generic stuff and phrases being thrown around a la Bon Jovi. And listen, it's good background music. I mean, I enjoyed the solo, but I mean, again, it's not giving people like me and you anything here.
Yeah, I think clearly Maneater was the inspiration for this generic checklist song, Frank. This dude has a great voice, and the solos are cool, but my God, is it like generic and boring otherwise? I feel like these guys were born in a lab marked 80s opening act creation room. I don't know, like, there's just like, and it's crazy because like me and Frank were making fun of these guys before we came on, and I was like, let me look at the actual history of this band. My God, there's like, other than the music, it's fascinating.
It is.
How is this band so fucking boring? Like,
and people like them enough to nowadays, and we'll touch base on that in a little bit. But there's like 2 factions of the band that actually exist, right?
Yeah, because people can't get enough of them, and 2 creators both want to cash in on their dumbass band.
I mean, it's awe-inspiring, absolutely awe-inspiring.
Hey, Frank.
Yes, sir.
Never Change Heart.
I won't.
That's the name of the next song.
Oh, I thought.
Yeah.
I thought you were actually talking about My Heart and how good it is.
Well, you can use a little. Anyways, don't go changing to try. Anyways, so Never Change Heart, track number 6. It kind of has this keyboard intro, and I was really hoping we were going to get some like hot 80s synth sex with this sexy intro. No, that doesn't happen. This sounds like so many other songs just kind of jammed together for radio play that it makes me kind of want to puke, if I'm being honest with you. Because you can't start something sexy and then just shove mayo in it. It's just gross. I wish this song had some heart of its own, because it just doesn't. This thing falls so flat. It might have been cool if they had really taken the time to sexify this thing. They just chose not to, man. It's so boring.
Can I be honest with you, man?
Yeah, go for it.
So when you mentioned puke, I thought about the time we were at band practice and you did that projectile vomit.
Oh, when I puked on that poor snail? Yeah, I wasn't feeling good that day. I think I had food poisoning and I still went to band practice.
Oh.
And despite the fact that I was like sweating and the guys thought I was going to shit my pants, I played anyways. And then like we used to go for walks and we would just talk shit like just in between sets and just walk and walk and walk. And I wasn't feeling good. So I decided like, hey, you guys want to see me puke? And then there was a snail. So I just like, it had to be like 10 feet away from me. Like I projectile puked on this snail. It was not good. It was all Gatorade and bile. Like, I feel bad for that snail.
Me too. And I remember, because Mark, obviously you're bent down, all of a sudden you saw my feet just scatter off.
Yeah. Frank's a little squeamish. People might not believe that.
Yeah. Big time. Like,
yeah.
Hair and food will cause me to vomit on the spot.
Yeah. My problem with this beard is that, like, a lot of times I'll see hair in my food and I'll be like, wait, is that mine? And I got to think about it. And then I realize usually it is.
Usually it is.
Not that it happens that much, but like,
yeah,
it happens enough.
I'm big time squeamish. Oof.
Yeah.
All right. So what were we on? We're on talking about the snail. No, never change heart. Sorry.
Never change heart. Yeah. It's your turn.
Yeah, again, the intro, listen, it's not bad. And we get the bass, which is a nice change to actually hear it for variety purposes. Almost reminds me, though, of Lady Red Light and the verses. This is one of those that it's a tough one for me because I like how the chorus has the classic 80s rock feel. But and I'm pretty sure it's in E minor. So they're using that on the chorus. So we get kind of this sad feel. But I wish the rest of the song would actually emulate that sadness a little more. But then that would create emotion. That would then therefore create effort, and I think that's what is lacking here. So moving on to Fast Road. Fast Road. Finally a change of pace, which is welcomed. I hear some hot for a teacher Van Halen during the verses with the riff. I mean, I would have taken more of this or just the effort to change the tempos a little more. Obviously effort, I'm saying that now constantly, right? I like this solo and that the drums never let up. To me, this earned them some chops. I would say if I had to pick a favorite on the album, it would be it. The fast-paced nature doesn't by any means throw it into like a punk style, but still at least makes it a little more grittier, like a Motorhead-style rock song. And I think Russell's vocals are spot on. A version that actually exists on the Jack Russell Great White Band on their Acoustic Bites album. I think they did a great job. I mean, for what it's worth, at least it was a little bit entertaining. Mark?
The fact that that guy's name is Jack Russell, and that's a kind of weird yappy dog, is like, it's so not lost on me. Anyway, so let me paint you a picture of how this song was written, okay?
Yes.
Producer walks in the room and says, hey, we need something that sounds like some Van Halen to record. And the drummer peeks up and he goes, I got this. And that's how this song went. Otherwise, it's a master stroke in cliche writing. Check out these lyrics I handpicked for you. I'm not going to do my best Jack Russell because honestly, I've already forgotten what his voice sounds like. Faces come, Frank.
They do.
The faces go, Frank. All looking for someone to be. I don't mind. I do fine. There's nowhere that I'd rather be. On a main line. Fast road to nowhere. A straight line. Fast road to nowhere. Who writes like this? Who talks like this? Who says, I'm on a fast road to nowhere? Who, like, the phrasing of this is just like, what rock and roll car guy fucking filler can I stuff into a song so that it sounds like a cool fast car song and I can be on a fucking Harley Davidson mixtape one day? Like, fuck you, fuck this song, dude. It's so boring and generic. Oh my God.
You know what's a better song though is
Tell me.
Rockin' My Way to Your Love Tonight. I think that one has some. That's a good track. I think it's got some
hit potential. Yeah.
Right, and hopefully next time I say it, I don't botch it up. But I think that tune has some potential.
Yeah. Well, it was debuted on Redline Radio, so I think they own the rights to it now. So you probably owe that guy like 37 cents by the end of this episode.
There you go.
Don't know what kind of contract you signed.
Next we have On the Edge, Mark, and
Ooh.
I like how we talked about I think earlier this week how you said this was the furthest thing from having an edge, and I agree.
Yes.
It's another mid-tempo '80s rock track that goes nowhere, but hey, but goes anywhere. I'm sorry, but the places that are interesting. Maybe this influenced years later Aerosmith to write "Living on the Edge." LOL. That's a joke. Listen. What else is a joke is Weird Al's "Living in the Fridge," and I have to be honest with you, that song is better than both On the Edge and Aerosmith's "Living on the Edge." So that's all I have to say about that song.
So for the listeners at home, Frank and I share a document, and that's how we create the scripts for these.
Yes.
And he wrote LOL.
I did.
Into the script, and it's never been fucking funnier to me.
I did, and that's why I said it.
Yeah, no, it's pretty fantastic. I mean, I'm happy to report that Living on the Edge wouldn't be released for 6 years after this. So the good news is they didn't steal it from Aerosmith, I guess. However, you'll know that this thing has zero edge. It's nowhere near the edge. And there is a moment in one of the guitar solos that sounds like Michael Jackson's Bad.
Yes, you're right.
That happens in one of these. But the good news is that album isn't released for 2 months until 2 months after this one came out. So chances are he didn't steal it from Eddie Van Halen, who played the guitar solo on that.
Yeah.
But it's clear that Van Halen was definitely an influence on this band, and they could not do anything to get close to sounding like Van Halen. And I feel kind of bad for him, but
I know. Hey, man. Truth
Yep.
Slayers. That's what we are. Truth Slayer. And we are now at track 9, Save Your Love, the 9th, and thank God, the final track. It's got that open E intro on the acoustic guitar. When the B comes in, it almost sounds a little bit like Metallica's Fade to Black. I give the track props because at least even though it's a slower tempo, it's a different tempo. And at least that gives us a little bit different sounds. I thought the chorus was at least catchy and moderately memorable. I guess it's their power ballad. There are some dueling guitar solos and there's an atmospheric feel, blah, 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 blah. However, I think if you're going to close out the record, and thankfully it's closed, this is the way to do it. And I like whatever you got going on right now, my friend.
Frank, it's cliche ballad time.
Cliche ballad time. Yeah, I love what you just did there. I love it.
The scented candle. It turns out when you blow them out, they don't smell as good as regular candles. Anyways.
But you'd rather do that than listen to this song, I bet.
Oh, my God. This song is so boring and predictable. And it's really kind of funny because what you realize that they do is that On the Edge is downshifting. So instead of going faster where you upshift into gear, they're downshifting. They're slowing it down so that when we get to Save Your Love, they're in first gear and trying to park is what they're doing. They're ready to get off this ride, and I couldn't wait to get off it with them either. This thing's so boring and predictable. I wish he wouldn't talk about dreaming so much, and it's just putting me to goddamn sleep.
Yeah.
So bad.
Could you imagine this album stretched to like the 12 or 13 or even 15 tracks?
Oh, my God,
like,
no.
We would have just purposely left them out, I think.
So I think last week we talked about lots of Metallica stuff, but particularly we talked about Load and Reload and how they were supposed to be a double album, but recording whatever. I was wondering, do you think, because this album's called Once Bitten, the next one's called Twice Shy, and the single Once Bitten, Twice Shy is on the next album, right, even though it's a cover. Okay, situation A, they wanted to release a double album with this title, but for whatever reason they couldn't, and the single ended up on the other album. Or B, I don't know what B would be. Like, I just can't figure out, like, because
something's not adding up. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Was it really that intentional? Did all the stars align to where, like, kind of that was the flow of everything?
I don't know.
I don't know. I agree. Maybe this was supposed to be a double album. In that case, I don't know what to say. It's interesting though that this band they're defined by that cover tune, and all the bands were doing. We mentioned Poison earlier. They were doing Your Mama Don't Dance, Your Daddy Don't Rock and Roll. earlier in the 80s, right? Motley Crue was doing Smoking in the Boys Room. So, I mean, that was the thing to be doing,
Yeah. Van Halen did some too, right?
Well, I mean, yeah, they did Pretty Women or Pretty Woman,
That's what I'm thinking of.
Pretty Woman, and they did Dancing in the Streets too.
It's not like it's uncommon, right?
No, I guess not.
And covers, have been a big part of mainstream American radio for as long as we can remember.
Yeah.
But why don't we start the final thoughts?
Yeah, let's do that. Well, listen. I thank my good buddy Don for the suggestion. He's a wealth of information for this music and a lot of classic metal, to be honest with you, as well. He shares a lot of good stuff with me on the classic metal side, and he also digs this stuff. I can see where this is the band's peak, really, in their best effort. Listen, I don't mind tracks like Lady Red Light, Rock Me, and even because of the change of tempo, Fast Road. But that's really the extent of it. I think it clearly displayed and communicated. I think I clearly, displayed and communicated how the surface level lyrics and how frustrating they are when you have bands that have good musicians and singers with good voices. I'm not going to crap on it too much here, but Great White is, I would say they are a contributor and a reason to the genre imploding for sure. Mark, what about you on your final thoughts here?
I couldn't imagine a band named after a shark being so toothless. Like, it's just, when it comes to their music, there's just so little edge, there's so little bite, you know what I mean? And they'd have been better off as White Noise. I don't know. Also, I don't know why this album was called Once Bitten, right? None of the songs were about sharks. And the song Once Bitten, Twice Shy is off the album that would be released 2 years later.
It's so confusing.
Did they just like that song and want to cover it but couldn't get the rights in time for this album?
Maybe.
Yeah, sorry, Don. This record did literally nothing for me, but make me wish I was listening to anything else. It's so safe and cliche. At least the next record gets sexy with Mr. Bones. Excuse me, Mr. Bone. It's a shame. There's nothing wrong with this band. They just can't seem to do anything good. Like, it's, you know what I mean? Like, nothing's bad. It's just not good.
Not good. That's the problem.
They've got the skills, just not the ability to deliver on them. If 100 people hadn't died at their concert because they set off some pyro, there'd almost be nothing interesting to talk about with this band.
And it's just weird, and I talked about this earlier, it's just weird how there's two factions of them currently going, and it's really unbelievable. And listen, if they want Rockin' My Way to Your Love Tonight, they could take it. That's all I could tell them. They could take it.
Yep.
Giving it away for free. Away for free, folks.
Yep.
Well, that was Great White, Once Bitten, and we're not going to review Twice Shy at all.
Thank God.
At all. I do encourage, though, people to listen to the original version of Once Bitten, Twice Shy by Ian Hunter. I think it's better than Great White's version, and it made me think eventually maybe we'll talk about songs that are covers that people don't know are covers, because I think a lot of people maybe think that that's a Great White tune.
Yeah,
and I'm not trying
that's a good idea.
Not trying to discredit them there, but I'm just saying it's
Are you trying to suggest that Great White hasn't written any great songs?
I wasn't trying to discredit them there, but
I feel like maybe they did it themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
They hadn't written that record, we couldn't have put it down.
That's right. I know. All right, so let's get to next week's episode, because we're going to be bringing back a versus, Mark, but this time it's an inner conflict, so it's going to be the same band, and what we're going to do is Mark's going to take that candle and look awesome in it, by the way. And speaking of metal, I mean, that's metal.
Thank you.
That's metal right there.
Thank you. Yeah,
that's the YouTube thumbnail, and everyone that you could see it. That's the YouTube thumbnail.
Yep.
So we have a verse series, verse episode that we're bringing back here that we haven't touched, in a while. But
kind of a spotlight, kind of a verse.
Yep, absolutely. So Inner Conflict, and it's the band Weezer. So their debut album, the Blue Album, versus their second album, Pinkerton. They are both typically positioned at the top of Weezer's all-time records by critics and fans, and we're pitting them against each other to see which one comes out on top. These two albums, to me, couldn't be more different to each other, and it's going to be fun to go through it. What about you, Mark?
Yeah, I'm excited for this one. You know, Weezer reminds me very much of summer, and I know you guys are feeling summer right along with Frank and I. So, you know, this is going to be a fun one to, you know, put on and go about your day-to-day business and hopefully find some adventure within your life, enjoying my childish ideas of summer. Plus, I haven't really listened to either of these records in quite some time. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun to go back and revisit them.
Yeah,
Um,
I agree.
see how they've held up with time. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I agree. I think they're two important records, and it's going to be fun to, of course, dissect them. And obviously, then we're going to have to pick which one we personally prefer.
Yeah.
And that's where it gets fun. So I enjoy, of course, doing things like that. So yeah, that's our episode. I would like to thank everyone for their time. You can, of course, listen to these episodes where you listen to podcasts and all the previous episodes. We're on Redline Radio every Friday from 11 to 12, and we're on YouTube. So be sure to hit that old subscribe button, become part of the Facebook group. And if you have a record you'd like us to suggest, drop us a line. We love when we get suggestions. And until next time, everyone, peace.
Bye-bye. Thanks a lot, Don.